guys, it's Shadow the Rat, and for today's video, I wanted to give you another update on my sweet old girl Donut. So this here is Miss Donut. She is currently a little over 2 years and 7 months, and she has been on treatment for a pituitary gland tumor for the last 9 months. So Miss Donut's been doing pretty well, all things considered. I mentioned in past videos what she's on. She's on cabergoline. That's for the tumor itself. It kind of helps to shrink the tumor and prevent more growth. She's also on prednisone, which is a steroid. She gets that once a day. She gets the cabergoline once every 3 days, by the way. But anyways, the prednisone helps to keep down the inflammation, and then she's on doxycycline twice a day to help reduce the chance of infection, because when steroids like prednisone are given long term, they will lower the effectiveness of the immune system. Anyways, with all that being said, Donut is doing pretty well. She has not had any pituitary gland symptoms, so that's pretty good. Although, unfortunately, she does have a few other health issues going on, mainly related to her just being a really old rat now. First and foremost, I did mention in my last video that she had some respiratory issues, and we had put her on Baytril because she seemed to be grunting some, so I was worried she had a respiratory infection. And I'm happy to say that after a 10-day course of Baytril, which is pretty much the shortest one that we usually do, she has now had all her symptoms go away. Well, actually, they all went away after like the first or second day of taking Baytril, so it was a pretty fast turnaround. But anyways, she is doing really well, and she is now not on Baytril anymore, which is really good because we're trying to minimize the amount of medication she's on, and that's because she unfortunately also has some kidney issues, which are partially due to her age, but also probably due to being on prednisone and doxycycline, both which are pretty hard on the kidneys when given long term, which she has been on them for a long time at this point. And while she can't go off those, I don't want to put even more strain on her kidneys with more medication, so I am trying to avoid putting her on anything else. So the Baytril was just a temporary thing to deal with some respiratory issues that did not seem to be responding to the doxy, but she's now all better and has finished that antibiotic course, so she doesn't need it anymore, and she is now not on Baytril anymore. Anyways, that's good news. As far as the kidney issues go, she's doing pretty good there as well. She does still have some protein in her urine, but that's just because her kidneys are unfortunately damaged, and they're not going to ever be 100% again, but they are functioning well enough that we don't really need to worry about anything right now. They might decline in function in the future, but at this point she's doing pretty good, and that's pretty much all I can ask for. Now, she also has some hind leg degeneration going on because of her kidney issues, and that has gotten a little bit worse. It's not increasing in severity really quickly. Like, she can still climb okay-ish, she can get around pretty well, she can run, she's just kind of waddly when she runs. So it's not like full-blown hind leg degeneration like you sometimes see with male rats in particular, but it's definitely worse than it used to be. But again, she's doing pretty well, all things considered, and it definitely doesn't get her down. She's still very active, she's still very food motivated, as you can tell, so it's not really a big concern for me right now, and she seems to be doing pretty well on that front. Now, moving on to the other concerning issue, Donut does still have all her mammary tumors, and I'll show you some of them. You can see she has some mammary tumors going on, and unfortunately, due to her pituitary gland tumor, she is not a surgery candidate. And while the drug she's on, cabergoline, does affect certain types of mammary tumors, specifically certain types of benign hormonal-based mammary tumors, which does encompass a lot of mammary tumors in rats, especially female rats. But anyways, even though the cabergoline does affect some of the mammary tumors, it doesn't affect all of them. And even though she's been pretty lucky, and for several months after starting cabergoline, she didn't have any tumors pop up, she has had a few pop up in the last few months, and unfortunately, they are growing, although thankfully they seem to be growing pretty slowly. But it's definitely something I have to keep in mind, and like I mentioned in some of these prior updates, if the mammary tumors start to get too large, then I will be having Donut put down, because mammary tumors can definitely be a big issue for rats. They can be difficult in terms of mobility, which Donut already has some issues with that, so that would just make it worse. They can start to take too much nutrients and make it hard for the rat to maintain weight, which that's another thing Donut technically has issues with, although she gets one supplementary feeding of Ensure and Omnivore Care once a day, and that has helped her maintain weight, so it's not really an active issue, but the fact that she has to have supplementary food to keep her weight on does kind of tell me that if she has something else that puts a big strain on her body, nutrients-wise, she's probably not going to do super well. So if her mammary tumors start to get really big, then I'm definitely going to unfortunately have to have her euthanized for them. But at least for now, that's not too big of an issue, thankfully, and Donut does continue to do pretty well. Again, she's just an old rat, so these are kind of just old rat related issues. They're not even really all that related to her pituitary gland tumor. I mean, her kidney issues are partially related to the medication she's on for her pituitary gland tumor, but they're not really directly related to it. Donut has somehow managed to be symptom-free pituitary gland tumor-wise for so many months, but unfortunately it might be the other issues that do her in. I guess that's just kind of how old age is, you know? Issues just end up stacking up, and it kind of sucks. But so far, she's doing pretty well, as is Olive, her same age sister. You can see her right here. And my other old girl, Omelet. Hello, sweet bean. They're all so cute. You poor old beans. Anyways, that's pretty much it for Donut. She's doing pretty well, all things considered. And we're just taking one step at a time. So, you know, if something ends up coming up and Donut needs to be put to sleep, then I'll definitely go through with it. Because her quality of life is most important when it comes to, you know, all of this going on. But so far, Donut's quality of life seems to be very high. She seems to be very happy and active. So I'm just going to continue letting her do her thing. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So yeah, that is Miss Donut and her update. I hope you enjoyed seeing her sweet little bean face, even if Olive's trying to hog the camera. So yeah, I will see you guys later. And I hope you enjoyed seeing Miss Donut. Bye!